Welcome back. Thanks for being here for another day of our 100-day challenge. We're going to start this morning and warm up our legs and then warm up everything else. But using the legs is a great way to get blood moving. And at the clinic today, we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day a couple days early. So if you wear green for today's workout, you will get even more benefit. So I'm going to show first a version with a chair or a table, whatever height you need, an easier version of this exercise. Our hands are in a diamond shape, and we fold forward at the hips and then sit the hips all the way down with our breathing. This is option 1. You can do this for the whole exercise. If you feel like not using the support, then reach towards the ground, or you can have a block there on the ground, a yoga block or something, a book to put your hands on. Same exercise. Straightening down, bending the hips, inhaling and exhaling. And we're going to do this longer than you want to, so your legs should feel like they're getting worked. Try to lift the head up. Lift the spine up when you sit your hips down. Keep breathing, keep it going. Press on though. It'll be worth the effort. Trying to lift the back and shoulders up when you sit down. We've got to get the blood moving on this cloudy day. There's not too much warmth and brightness this morning. Okay, we did it. Now our next movement will be a familiar one. Wide legs, 45-degree angle on our feet, and trying to hinge at the hip, bringing the ribs down towards the thighs.
One minute you can flip Alicia Boyd, and if we play our cards right, we can actually start classic Boyd.
Exhaling as you go down, inhaling to come up. The knee can bend, but don't let the knee bend too far out over the foot. All these moves, again, will be helped if you're wearing green or otherwise St. Patrick's Day themed clothing. Now we will turn out one foot to 90 degrees. Bend that knee. The back foot turns in 45 degrees. We'll exhale our elbow down, inhale our arm up, our torso back, so we're working on side flexion of the low back and hip and leg strength and stability. Exhaling down, inhaling up. Keep the legs strong, the feet strong, the hips and buttocks strong, but don't tense up anything else that you don't need tensed up. So keep the arms reaching, but don't have a lot of tension in the neck and shoulders. Maybe your knee bends deeper than mine here, or maybe it bends less. Just make sure it's bending enough that it's work, but you're not hurting your knee. Good. Exhaling down, inhaling up. All right. Now let's go double wide with our feet, hands on the back, circling our hips, inhaling forward, exhaling back. This one's getting familiar by now. These 100 days will be cumulative, so we will, in later days, work on skills we learned earlier on and build on those. So if you come in at a later point, you're always welcome to go back to earlier videos. They're not directly sequential, but they will build on themselves over time. And now, hands on the hips and just rotating the pelvis, rotating the hips. Rotating a few times one direction and then reversing directions. Now let's hands, thumb down on the hip crease, hiking the knees up, warming the hip socket up a little more, the hip joint up a little more. This is one of the biggest problem areas, this hip flexor area. We keep it shortened all the time, and it pulls on our hips and strains our backs, and then we complain about our backs. So we're taking extra time in this routine, and in your everyday, spend extra time loosening up this hinge joint, getting it out of this chronically locked position. Knee circles here, describing a large circle in front of the hips. Hold on to balance if you need. Here we'll do a few spring kicks. So we're just flicking the leg out, shaking the leg, pausing the foot before we set it back down. So keeping our balance, just shaking the legs out a couple of times. Now let's move to the upper body, the ribs, back, shoulders, our arm circles. We know these. The thumb guides the arm up. Reversing the pinky guides the arm back and upwards. We're rounding the corner at the top as tight as we can. Keeping the chest muscles relaxed, the neck muscles relaxed. Pressing through the foot to reach through the whole side, lengthening through the arm. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Reverse direction after a few. All right, this is a new motion for us. It builds on some of the earlier shoulder motions we've done. So we begin with the right hand forward, palm up. The right hand scoops under our arm and pierces behind us, still palm up, while the left hand pierces forward, palm up. So both hands stay palm up here the whole time, and then we turn the waist and switch the arms. Boom, switch, scoop and pierce, switch. Tucking the hand under the armpit, switch. So this wrings out the muscles of the shoulder, but we're doing it we're driving the motion through the waist and ribs like a ballerina. No, we are driving power from the ground. From our lower body through the arms. Switching sides. The front hand scoops back through, the back hand pierces forward, and they switch. Good. For our last moment, let's really focus here on moving the back and ribs to inhale and float the arms up. Exhale, sink the arms. So try to tie in, feel how part of your back and ribs do the opposite of what your hands are doing here. We're not just rotating the shoulder joint, but we're shifting the whole back and ribs. It's not evident from the outside looking at it, but you can see it in person. You should be able to feel it. A few times one way, a few times the other. And you'll get the sense that the breathing into the back and the ribs sort of fills, it drives the movement. That may not mean much right now, but just Think of that idea like you're inflating a balloon inside and that sends the arms upwards. Now let's just bring the feet together. Let's stand. Reestablish our basic standing posture. And the dog knows when it's done. Inhale the hands up, exhale the hands down the midline to settle on the belly. Thank you for joining us today. Always good to have you here. Notice what happens in your body, how your body feels today after these exercises. You'll be seeing changes if you're keeping this up every day, just 10 minutes a day. We will see you tomorrow.